Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com, and today we're going to talk about filling out your lab slip for specialty appliances. This is probably a very similar lab slip to other lab slips that you might need to to fill out if you wanted to get indirect bonding. Now, that being said, the company that I recommend for indirect bonding at the moment is actually not specialty or other labs. Maybe there's other labs that are good. I only recommend labs where you can see the STL with the bracket positioning on it, where they actually send it to you and they have worked in a step in the workflow where you can approve the bracket positioning. This is super critical because if you do not have this step, first of all, you don't even know if the brackets are right. And it's really good for you to show the bracket positioning to the orthodontist who's your mentor. Now, we do that at Straightsmile Solutions. You could send it to us through our secure mail portal, or we can do it in a HIPAA compliant Zoom session. We will double check the brackets because these are orthodontists that are placing the brackets, and definitely not, especially they're not. They don't have orthodontists on staff. The lab that I work with is called Global for IDB. They are by referral only, so if you want to be, they're not going to have a fancy website or anything like that. If you want a referral, you need to contact me, info@straightsmilesolutions.com, or go to my website, Straightsmile Solutions, send a message, say, hey, I want an intro to Global, give me your email. I'll be glad to do it. But they are the cheapest. They're $350, including the transfer trays, full positioning from molar to molar of 022 MBT 3M Unitech brackets. So that's top of the line that orthodontists use, metal or ceramic brackets. Now the ceramic ones are not plastic, they're ceramic. That's a little bit more than $350. So the $350 includes everything, from the digital setup to the approval stage to the trays, which are on the model with the brackets and everything. Only thing you have to do is it comes, and I have a lot of videos on how to deal with this. Comes, you put a dot of glue on the back of each bracket, edge prime bond, slap it on, like cure, peel it off. That's it. But if you're with specialty used to talk to me all the time, and they don't really communicate with me anymore, so I don't bother trying to contact them. They used to do that extra step, and I was using them all the time, and I really, really love their trays. So I really, really, really love their trays. It's definitely a different tray than they use at Global, so it can be hard for you to switch back and forth, but I'm not dogging specialty by any means. It's just that they got rid of that intermediate step where you guys could approve it, and from a compliance issue, you actually want to have that step, because if you don't have that step, then you cannot have your assistant place the brackets. You have to do it, okay? Now, if you have that step, now you've already digitally approved the bracket placement. Now your assistant can place it. Now, of course, you have to follow the laws in your own state. Usually it's under general or direct supervision, but you don't have to do it, okay? So now you can have that going on next door while you're doing a crown prep or whatever. Orthodontists do this all the time. We approve it first, and then we have 5 bondings going on at 4 p.m. on a Friday, where we normally couldn't if the doctor had to do it, right? So that's why we do it this way. So when specialty took away that extra step, the problem is I was finding that my doctors that I work with, they wouldn't get to view it. So I wouldn't get to view it. They'd go ahead and bond it, and I'd look at it and be like, that's wrong. Did you okay this bracket position? And they're like, no, specialty did it, and I didn't get to okay it first. I'm like, whoa, pump the brakes. How do we even know they did it right? I don't know what the problem is. Did they not do the brackets right? Or did you slip when you put them on? Or did you mush it? Or did you shift the tray? So that's why that step is super critical, because when something goes wrong, we don't know where something went wrong. And now you got to take all the brackets off and do it all over again. This has happened way too many times with these specialty cases. So this is the reason why I don't recommend their system. But if they've changed their ways, fantastic. They just don't tell me what's going on, right? So they're more than welcome to reach out to me, and I will be glad to retape this video and take away that other information. Okay, so let's talk about what this means. If you're trusting their bracket placement and you don't need that regulatory step, then so be it. You can use them. I do really, really like their trays. So they have type of bracket placement. I would never, ever do traditional. Traditionalist means there's a technician who's not an orthodontist, just gluing, like using sticky wax to put it on. So don't do that. That's old school. They don't know what they're doing. At the very least, you got to use the digital 3 IDB. It might be more, I don't know, but you want the computer to place it 100%, okay? You want upper only, upper and lower. Hopefully you're doing dual arch. Then there's 3 options here. This first one is use doctor's inventory. Now, if you were like an orthodontist and you were using specialty for all your brackets, then you probably give them just cases and cases of your inventory. Well, if you're working with me, that's not you, so that's a no. The other one is like, it's just a one-off case and you want to use a certain type of bracket so that it matches all your other cases, and maybe you have some in storage and you just mail it to them. So I'm guessing that's probably not you. So if you're working with me, most likely you're going to use Specialty Provides brackets, either metal or ceramic. I think they're using 022 slot MBT. Not sure what company. It's a pretty basic company, whatever it is. It's not as nice as what my Global's using, that for sure. But, and I know ceramic is more. But I would just check this metal or ceramic. Just remember, if you're using ceramic, you've got to be really careful about interferences because it can totally chip teeth. And then the tray is just how you want it to come. This is the transfer tray. So if you're like super sophisticated and you know how to do it, you can use full arch. If you're just getting started, I would use 3-piece. And if you have some experience, you can use midline arch. That just means the top arch is going to come in 2 pieces. Top arch is going to come in 3 pieces. Top arch is going to come in 1 piece. So if you're less experienced, use 3-piece. If you're super experienced, use full arch. Okay? And otherwise, if you're using a scan, you just check this. Otherwise, I wouldn't say anything. I mean, obviously down here, you don't need to say anything. It should just happen standard. But if you're looking for something a little bit different, this is where you'd write your instructions. So for example, let's say patient had a super gummy smile. Normally for me, if it's like crazy gummy, obviously I want to get as much absolute intrusion of the incisors as possible. So I might ask for the brackets on 7 through 10 or upper 2 to 2 to be placed slightly incisally, something like that, you know, all kind of different things you can do. Or let's say I had a canine substitution case where I was taking number 11 and I was going to treat it like a lateral, which means in that case, I probably would bracket it a little bit more incisally than I would a typical canine. So I might say use a lateral bracket on number 11 and bracket it like a lateral or something like that. So that's what this area is for. If you're not doing anything special, then no need to fill that out. You don't need to do any of this stuff here. Signature, that's it. All right, thanks so much.